for that. So the next speaker that we have is April Kurtyka. And she is not able to be here today because she has a family, her family's doing Christmas this weekend. They had family flying in from all over.
Hi everyone, my name is April Kurtyka, and I so wish that I could...
Okay, just kidding. There we go. There we go. There's April, our beautiful April. Who knows April? We love April. She is, like I said, she's doing Christmas with her family this weekend. They had people flying out, but I could think of nobody better to talk about calming the crazy than April. She has become pretty much an expert in the field of mental health, just making sure that our minds are in the right place and that we're taking care of our minds and bodies. So here we go. Here is April. She'll introduce herself a little bit as well.
Hi everyone, my name is April Kurtyka, and I so wish that I could be there with you today, but I'm really excited that I still have the opportunity to talk to you about a subject that is really near and dear to my heart, and that is calming the crazy. Now, crazy can happen any time of the year. However, there's something about the holidays, whether it's the traveling, the extra spending, or just trying to find that perfect gift that really seems to amplify the crazy. So we're going to talk all about that today and what we can do to relieve some of that craziness. But first, I want to tell you why it's me that's up here talking to you about this. Since I was about 13 years old or so, I've dealt with mental health issues. By the time I was 15, I was given my first prescription, and we found out really quickly that my body is really sensitive to medications. So much so that one medication made me actually start producing breast milk, which is terrifying for a teenage girl. However, instead of thinking outside the box or trying something new, we just kept seeing more and more doctors and trying so many more prescriptions. Over the years, I was diagnosed with ADD, bipolar, and a mess of other things, but I never really found relief from any of my symptoms. And then when I became a mother of 3, nothing got better because my self-care at that time was absolutely non-existent. So when I had postpartum depression and was actually having hallucinations, you would have thought that I would have, seeked special help or thought outside of the box then. But I just still, I don't know, I didn't have that in my capacity just yet. It wasn't until 7 years ago that I actually reached out on Facebook for help with one of my children that I found out about essential oils. I needed a little bit of help because my youngest just was not sleeping, and so someone suggested essential oils, and I kind of was like, they just smell really great. How in the heck are they going to help my daughter sleep? However, I tried it and I was floored. I was like, this stuff actually works. And so after I thought about it a little bit, I said, well, if it can help her so much, maybe, just maybe, this can help me too. And so I started trying balance in the morning and elevation throughout the day, and I was just astounded by the results. And so I am a lover of learning, and once I find something that works, I want to know everything about it. And so I went off to aromatherapy school and just learned everything I could about these seemingly magical oils. And for the first time, I can honestly say I wasn't a victim to my health anymore. I felt really empowered and like I had the tools to finally manage some of these symptoms in my life, right? However, as I'm sure you are all well aware, oils can't fix everything. I mean, almost, but they really can't. And so you gotta put some of your own work into it. And then in 2015, it was apparent that I wasn't putting my own work into it. Because after a really traumatic incident in 2015, I had what I would call the closest thing to a nervous breakdown. I can't think of a better name for it. I suffered from my first panic attack. And I just absolutely didn't know what to do because I had been using these awesome oils for managing my depression, but my self-care game was still totally non-existent. And so here I am struggling so much with this new ailment, and I just didn't know what to do. I wasn't paying attention to anything else my body was telling me. I just thought, oh, I got these oils, it's helping with that depression stuff. I'm good to go. Little did I know that my body was screaming at me the whole entire time, and I just wasn't listening. So I spent the next 6 months of my life working on me. I did nothing else but taking care of me and trying to really figure out how to use these oils in a different way, and in addition to my self-care regimen. And that's when I can say I honestly found the true benefit of these oils. It was absolutely life-changing. Excuse me. My notes just dropped and I kind of need those. I need to glance down at them. So I do want to pause here and take a little detour and talk about the fact that my story isn't all that different than so many of you out there probably. And that's because we, especially as mothers, but women typically in general, some men too, are so great at giving so much of ourselves to others. We give to our children, our partners, our friends, our family, and yeah, anyone else who wants a little piece of us, we're pretty good at giving it to them. However, when it comes to our own self-care, we're just totally negligent, right? We are usually left for last. And that just can't happen anymore, because your body will keep talking to you until it has to get louder and louder and scream to the point where, you know, like I had my panic attack. You will eventually have to listen to your body. So there's a good chance that some of you out there have experience with depression or anxiety, because anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the US. And it's not uncommon for someone with anxiety to also have depression. In fact, nearly half of those diagnosed with depression also are diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. So it's almost like nowadays the two are going hand in hand. And the problem is that while more and more of us seem to be, you know, being vocal about our mental health, I mean, look at this great conference we're having today, we're just still not getting any better. There was a poll done by the American Psychiatric Association, and it showed that Americans are 40% more anxious today than they were this time last year. That's pretty scary. And for the most part, they're not getting the help that they need, right? And then around the holidays, as we are, for many of us, mental health issues like depression and anxiety are just going to get worse. And there's many reasons for it, like I just touched on in the beginning, but there's also something called seasonal affective disorder that you may have heard of. Some refer to it as SAD. And seasonal affective disorder, it's not actually brought on by the holidays, it's actually brought on by the shorter daylight hours. However, about 12 million people experience seasonal affective disorder every year, and most of them are women. So it's definitely something that is very prevalent in our culture. So that's all really, really heavy stuff, right? But I want to tell you there's so much that we can do. And kudos to you for being here today to learn so many of those tools. So we're, in this talk, going to talk about calming the craziness. And for the purpose of today's talk, I'm going to mostly touch on oils because, honestly, oils is what I primarily use for my mental health. And I believe that it can be so effective for you. So I want to share just some of the things that have worked for me because I know it can work for you as well. So let's talk about oils, okay? So there should be 3 oils that are going to be going around now. Bergamot, Balance, and Elevation. I picked these 3 oils because Balance and Elevation were my first 2 best friends with doTERRA when I first got started, and they were so effective for me. So what I want you to do first, actually, I'm going a little ahead of myself, is when you get one of the oils passed to you, first smell it. Don't put it right on your body, please, because you may not like the oil and then you're stuck with it if it's on you. So once you get one, go ahead and give it a smell. If you really, really like the smell, especially with Balance, which is what I happen to pick up, you can put a drop on your hand and then attention for a lot of people. Or with bergamot or elevation, you could put a little bit on your hand, just 1 drop. You don't need a lot, and be careful because some of these drop out a little bit quickly. But you can go ahead and rub it here, and then just do a great big inhale. And it's almost like your own little personal diffuser. You just get to bring it all in. And it will last for a while, and you can keep doing that. And you may get a little bit of a mix of bergamot and elevation, and that's not going to hurt anything. That's going to be wonderful. If you don't like one of the scents, don't feel bad. Just keep passing it right along and go to the next one. But I want to first go ahead, as you're smelling all these, let's talk about these oils, and I'm going to talk a little bit about bergamot first. Now, bergamot is one of these oils that is one of the better studied oils. Lavender, I would say, is the best studied, right? We know so much about how lavender can help us and how lavender is so great with calming. But bergamot is getting some pretty good research in its own right. And they are finding that bergamot is just as effective as the benzodiazepine called diazepam in reducing anxiety levels. That's huge. That is so huge that this little bottle of oil can have the same effects as this prescription medication. And the extra upside of it is this little bottle right here, it's not addictive, right? It's not habit forming. And there's a huge epidemic of addictive substances. Ooh, I couldn't get that out. And so that's why I just am so in love with these oils, because they can be just as effective without having some of the terrible side effects, you know, like dependency. So you can see why I just absolutely loved this oil when it came to my anxiety and panic. This does wonders. Now, it also, as I'm sure you can smell if you've had this one passed around to you, there's a slight citrus smell to it, right? This is a citrus oil. And citrus oils by themselves are just generally uplifting. So I really love bergamot because it brings down those anxiety levels while still kind of bringing you up. It's just a beautiful little magic trick that it does. There's no magic, it's science, but I kind of call it magic tricks. One disclaimer about bergamot that I just want to make sure that you know, though, is that it is photosensitive. And so what that means is if I were to just put this all over my face right now and walk outside and go in the sun for a little while, I can burn anywhere that is. So let's just be smart when we're using bergamot, okay? And all that means is put it inside your neckline area. You could put it on a cotton ball and put it in your bra. You could put it on your pulse points. You know, just be smart. Don't put it on, you know, all over your neck and chest or your face if you're going outside today. Pretty simple, but I just want to make sure that you know about it. So nowadays I use bergamot mostly, you know, I put it first thing on my diffusers in the morning. So I wake up before anyone else does in my house, and I put it in the 2 diffusers we have downstairs, and that helps me have a nice, smooth morning, and it's helping my entire family as they wake up. So it's a win-win for everybody in our family. Sometimes if I want a little bit of a pick-me-up, I will put a couple drops of peppermint in with the bergamot. It just smells great. I like it. You can try it out and see if you like it too. The next oil I want to talk about is Balance. So Balance, like I mentioned, is one of the first oils I fell in love with doTERRA. And Balance is actually not one specific oil. It's a blend of a few different oils, and I'll look at my little cheat sheet right here and tell you what those are. It's spruce, hoe wood, blue tansy, blue chamomile, and frankincense. So those are just the mix of oils in here. And it gives you kind of like a sweet yet woody smell that you could probably pick up on. What I like about Balance is it's not really overpowering. It's kind of one of those oils that can fly under the radar. People may not even know you're wearing it, but you're still really experiencing the benefits that it provides. So give it a try. When I first started using this oil, I would have it right next to my bed, and the minute I woke up, before my feet even hit the floor, I would put a few drops and rub it into my feet. And then if I wanted to, I'd put it elsewhere. So again, before my feet hit the floor, I was already experiencing that calming and just grounding benefits that this brings. And then, of course, just make sure that you reapply it throughout the day. You know, it will just help lessen those feelings of stress, and it will really help you just feel more and more grounded. If you need some really deep grounding, and I mean, this is probably not suitable for work type grounding. I would mix Balance with Serenity, which is another blend that doTERRA has, and that will really just calm you down. Again, you may not be too effective at work afterwards, but it's really going to help calm you down if you're just way up here and you need to ground a little bit. Now the third oil, last but not least, is Elevation. And I love the smell of Elevation. It might be one of my favorite scents. This is another blend. It's not just one specific oil. And this is a blend of tangerine peel, lavender, clary sage, Hawaiian sandalwood, ylang ylang, hoe wood, lemon myrtle, and melissa. Some of those oils I'm just so in love with, and Melissa being one of them. Melissa is one of those super effective oils, but they are expensive because it's a little bit harder to source. So it's so awesome that you can get Melissa in this blend. I always was really excited about that. Elevation is called the Joyful Blend, and I think sincerely that's like the best way it can be described, because it's just such an uplifting, joyful scent, joyful oil. So you can put it over your heart, your temples, your wrists to elevate your mood. Or after a long day at work or just a long day raising kids, you can go ahead and put it in your bath. Now, oil and water don't mix beautifully, we know that, right? So a little trick that I use is I will put a few drops on my shower wall, so that way when things heat up, it kind of just naturally diffuses. So you can use it like that as well. Now, if you prefer the smell of Elevation over bergamot, then use Elevation the same way in your diffusers in the morning that I was talking about using bergamot. They can definitely be used interchangeably for giving you that great uplifting start to your day. So hopefully you have had the chance, or you will soon, to smell all three of these oils. I want to make sure though that as you're reading these, or as you're going through these, that you're writing them down. So make sure you have a pen and paper out and you're writing it down. You guys are going to be getting so many great tips. You're going to be falling in love with a lot of different oils today. So I want to make sure that you are making kind of your grocery list of the oils that you just have to have. And while you have that pen and paper out, I want to give you a few recipes for some blends that I make that are so powerful, and they smell great, of course, too. So the thing a little disclaimer about blends and recipe making that I'm going to tell you about, it's easy, guys. Don't let it intimidate you. I know when I first started using essential oils and someone mentioned blending oils together, I was like, I'm not there yet, sorry. But let me tell you now, my 7-year-old daughter can do it. So you absolutely can do this, and I'm going to give you the recipes. So all you'll need to do is get some roller bottles. I get these really pretty ones just because I like the pretty bottles. I get those off Amazon. You search 10 milliliter roller bottles, pretty easy, or just roller bottles. They'll figure it out for you. You don't have to know the size. And you have this, you have your oils, and you have some fractionated coconut oil, which don't worry, doTERRA sells too. So you got everything pretty easily. And then all three of these recipes, I'm telling you, as long as you have those things together, it'll take you less than 5 minutes to make these blends. So I'm not trying to add more to your plate. I'm really trying to give you some amazing blends that you can use. Because once I found these, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to tell everyone. And I really did. Like, my sister made a blend that day after I told her about them. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to give you a recipe for, it's called Calm, and this is actually a recipe that I made in aromatherapy school. I had to make a blend for women at nighttime. Now, don't let it fool you, men can absolutely use this too, but that was my assignment, and so I made this diffuser blend. And I don't know why, sometimes we just kind of get stuck in our own heads, but I had never thought of making it into a roller bottle. And just recently I was listening to an essential oil hormone summit, and they started talking about this exact blend that I made for, going to bed at night. And they were talking about making it in a roller bottle. And I was like, oh my gosh, genius. And now I use my roller bottle all the time, and I don't have to only diffuse it at night. So let's go on here. So Calm, what oils you need? 10 drops of bergamot, 20 drops of ylang ylang, and 30 drops of lavender. So you put those 3 oils, again, 10 drops of bergamot, 20 drops of ylang ylang, and 30 drops of lavender. You put those 3 oils in here, and then you just fill the rest of it up with fractionated coconut oil. You put on a little roller bottle, and you're good to go. Shake it up every time before you use it, and again, put it on those pulse points. I think this is a great calming one that's not going to bring you down so much, that you can't work anymore. This one, you can use throughout the day, and it's very calming, but you can still function, which is important, right? And, in all, transparency, I do put a little bit more bergamot in here because I love bergamot. And that's the beauty of these is, oh my goodness, if you don't have a certain oil in these, blends that I'm giving you, then that's okay. Make it with the oils that you do have. Or if you really like one scent more than another, put in a little bit more. Make these perfect for you. That's who they're for. So they will work beautifully if you like them. Because chances are, if you make a blend and you're like, this is disgusting, even if it works, you're not likely to use it, right? So I want you to really tailor these to you and what you like. All right, so next blend, I forget what the woman called it when I was listening to the Hormone Summit. I don't know what their name was, or what they named it, but I looked at the ingredients and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be to like sleep or sedate you. And so me and the kids, we were talking about it and we're like, let's just call it super chill, because that's how you'll be after this one, super chill. And so for this one, it's 20 drops of cedarwood, 20 drops of serenity, and 20 drops of vetiver. So if you know anything about these oils, you know that those are pretty powerful grounding oils. And that's exactly what these oils are going to do for you. They're going to ground you. They're going to calm you. I don't know if I'd operate heavy machinery or go back to work using this one. However, if you're in a very anxious state, maybe panic attack state, I do believe that you can absolutely apply this one and still be working, because it's just going to bring you to a normal level at that point, right? The third one, it does call for quite a few oils, but I love it. This might be my favorite one. And the person who I got this recipe from, she calls it hot mess, which I think is really cute. So this one, you're gonna put in equal parts of wild orange, citrus bliss, balance, serenity, and lavender. Okay, so again, equal parts wild orange, citrus bliss, balance, serenity, and lavender. So you're just going to, however many you want to put. You want to put 5 of each of those oils in, mix it up with the fractionated coconut oil, see how you like it. If you want to add a little bit more of one of the oils, then go ahead and do that. Again, make this your own. But I love this one because we have some really calming oils like that balance, serenity, and lavender. But then we have those great citrus oils, the wild orange and citrus bliss. So it's just such, I think it's a beautiful smelling blend, and it works beautifully. It just like calming you down, but you feel good because, again, I think that citrus scents really help out with that. All right, so you have now experienced 3 oils, the bergamot, balance, and elevation, and you have 3 awesome recipes. But I'm not done yet. Hold on, I got just a little bit more that I want to tell you about because I think not everyone realizes that these essential oils are also really linked with certain emotions. So remember earlier I said that I was going to talk to you about why you may be really attracted to certain oils and really not attracted to others. We're going to talk about that right now. So it just may be due to the certain emotions that you need to tend to, and sometimes you're ready to attend to them, and sometimes maybe you're not in the place that you need to attend to them. So it's going to work, it's going to look 2 ways. Let me just break it down a little bit more. The first being that you seem really, really attracted to a certain oil, you just can't get enough of it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to look that oil up right here in one of these things. So this is the Emotions and Essential Oils wheel. And so this is the positive side. So all around here, you're just going to find Different positive emotions: grateful, playful, supported, clear boundaries, unashamed. And then you will find the corresponding oil that you should use to go with that. If you want to say like, I really just want to feel more creative, then it says, okay, use the invigorating blend. Now on the flip side of this, it's the negative emotions, okay? So maybe you just can't even think of how you want to feel right now. You just know what you're in. So maybe you are feeling really unforgiving or critical or, what are some other good ones? Shy, overworked, pained. And okay, we know, right? We get it. So same thing, you're gonna look at how you're feeling and then look at what oil needs to be brought to your attention. Now you can also do that with this amazing book. So this little guy is like the Cliff's Notes. That's how I think of it. This is gonna get so much more into detail. So, and this works really well if there's just an oil that you're so attracted to and you want to know why, or vice versa. If there's an oil that you're really not wanting, you're going to look it up in here. So, yeah, I just open up to cilantro. So you can see it first says what that is, what emotion that oil goes with. So with cilantro, it's the oil of releasing control. So let's say you're just like, gosh, I can't get enough of that smell. Why is that? Well, maybe it's because, you are ready to release something right now. It's the time. And this oil is really trying to help you out with that, right? So it says the negative emotions that this addresses: controlling, toxic, obsessive, clinging, worried, trapped. So if you're ready to release those feelings and ready to feel cleansed, liberated, detached, and untroubled, then that's how we're going to work with that. Isn't that amazing? Now, we could put that on the flip side, right, and say, okay, I hate the smell of cilantro. Why? Look it up in here. Maybe you're not ready to release control of something. That's obviously coming up for you. Because if you have such a drastic feeling, one side or the other, really love it, really hate it, that's telling us something, right? So if you just really have a strong feeling of, I don't like this, then maybe you're not ready yet, but it's just telling you, like, look, this is here for you to kind of deal with when you're ready. And so what I would really suggest doing is using this oil sparingly and see what happens. Don't apply it to your body though, okay? Because can you imagine you really don't like the smell of this oil because maybe you're just not ready to release all the way and you just covered yourself in it? It's not going to work. A lot of times it will bring on such strong emotions that it's just not even going to be healthy for us to work with. So instead, put a little bit on a cotton ball. Like I said earlier, put a little bit on a cotton ball and put it in your shirt or put it in your purse. So every time you open your purse, you're smelling it a little bit. Something like that. Get creative, but do not put it straight on your body if this is something that you are not attracted to, right? But that's just, a few ideas to, really work with it. All right. Sorry, let me just look at my notes. Okay. So more than anything, with all of this, I'm showing you all these great tools of how you can make blends, how you can look up, what emotions you're experiencing, everything like that. More than anything, I just want you to be curious. Look into why you love oils or why you don't love oils so much. When I found out that bergamot really deals with the whole feeling confident and feeling good enough, that made sense because I was really working on those emotions in my life. And I was obviously in a place where I was ready to work on those emotions. So I knew that was what my body was asking for right then. And, your body is giving you clues. It's just up to you whether or not you want to investigate them or not. And I really encourage you to do that. I can honestly say the most difficult thing about essential oils is actually just using them. So many people get these incredible oils and they're so excited about them and then they're just not sure what to do or they just forget to use them. So what I really suggest is integrating these oils into your self-care regimen. And what I mean by that is put these oils wherever you're going to need them, wherever you're going to use them. I have oils in my bathroom, I have oils in my purse, I have oils in my car, I have oils in my kitchen. And they're all the oils that I'm typically going to use in those places. And it's because if I kept them all in a rack somewhere in a beautiful little box, they're not going to be used. Even by me, someone who believes in these darn oils so much, I know they're so effective, but if they're just all trapped away somewhere and I'm not seeing them, I'm not going to use them. And that is typically where people, go downhill with oils, where they're like, yeah, I had some, but I just didn't really use them. It's just because they're not in your face. So put them in your face, put them wherever you need them. Because when you use these oils consistently, you are going to get the most dramatic results. And that's really how we're going to calm the crazy, right? All right, so I want to thank you all so much for allowing me to share a little bit about my journey. And, I hope that you have learned at least one tool that you can use today to calm the craziness in your life and throughout this holiday season, so it can just be a truly enjoyable season for you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yay! Okay, so that's 2 people now that have said, put the oils anywhere where you're going to use them, right? That's where you're going to get the best results, is by keeping them, like first thing by your bedside table, in your bathroom, in your kitchen, wherever you're going to need them. The book that April was talking about, I have right up here, so I want to do something real quick. What is your least favorite smelling oil?
Cilantro.
Oh, she talked about cilantro. I knew spikenard was going to be it. Guess what spikenard is the oil of? It's the oil of gratitude. So if you don't like the smell of spikenard, you are not ready to be fully grateful yet. But if you wanted to come take a look at it, you can take a look at the book right here, and it'll tell you the different things, or maybe you just need to be exposed to it a little bit more and really fully embrace that sense of gratitude, right?
Steph, where can we get that book?
This book, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it on Oil Life, you can get it on Aroma Tools. There's a lot of different places. I want to say it's like $20. And then you have the little wheel that goes with it too.
Does it come with?
And they're getting ready to have a new one come
Yes, there is a new one that's coming out too. There is a combo, or you can buy them separate. Okay. The other one that I think was at the back of the room that Shelley brought was Desiree Mangendog's book, I Am Fabulous.
Yeah.
That is another one that deals with emotions. I mean, when I first started using the oils, it was mostly for their therapeutic benefits. But I didn't realize the emotional power behind these essential oils. And really digging into this book, the Emotions and Essential Oils, and the I Am Fabulous, and she has a second book. What is that one called?
I Am Worthy.
I Am Worthy. And those books are absolutely amazing. They have some amazing blends with mantras that you can kind of tell yourself when you're doing your meditations, and all of that self-care as well. So those books are fantastic. Again, Oil Life, Aroma Tools, and you can see them on Amazon. And Desiree Mangendog, who, and I'll mention this again at the end with more details, but she's coming out here to do an I Am Fabulous training. It's an all-day thing. Emily right here is putting it on. It's on the 26th at the end of this month. And so registration will be open. This month? Oh, just kidding. We're still in December. Like, December non-existent. But yes, in January, end of January. So information on registration will be about that. We'll have that more information.